Today I'm showing you guys my settings here in Black Ops 6. I know I have put this video off for a while, but I want to just play the game a lot. But since I am actually still shadow banned, why not do a settings video and give you guys the best settings that I've used here so far in Black Ops 6. These settings show you guys why I am the player that I am and just how I do things and my personal preference when it comes to certain settings here in Black Ops 6. If you do enjoy it, drop a like and subscribe. Top right to these settings. So for the graphics tab, before we just hop right into this thing, I want to say that I am on PC, of course, which might change pretty soon because the shadow ban thing is actually kind of stupid, but that's a different story for another day. I'm on PC. I have a 3090 Ti in my PC, just to keep that in mind. So a lot of my settings will just be, I will have some things lower or higher than certain people, but not really. It's Call of Duty. Call of Duty will just maximize your frames, but display mode will put on full screen exclusive so you can get the most amount of frames on your game. But display monitor, whatever monitor you have plugged into your computer, that's the monitor number that it will show up on this display monitor right here. Display adapter is basically your graphics card. Like I said, I have a 3090 Ti that you clearly can see right there. Screen refresh rates, or better known as hertz, from your monitor. I have it on a 240 hertz monitor. Display resolution is also my monitor's resolution. I guess you can say that's the right word for it. I play on a 1440 240 hertz monitor. If you still play on 1080p when it comes to Call of Duty, I suggest you get off of that. It is a little hefty, I'll be honest, to go to 1440. But once you go to 1440, you'll never go back to 1080 because the difference between those two are absolutely insane. You literally just stay at 1440 or you just want to go literally higher. Overall, 1440 is one of the best things you can do when it comes to Call of Duty. The aspect ratio is on set to automatic. That's default. The display gamma, we have that set to 2.2 sRGB. That's also default as well. The gamma / brightness is 50. You can adjust this however you want your game to actually be seen. Me personally, I just kept it at 50. The video reflex low latency is set to on. That's also how the game really pretty much came. The echo mode preset set to custom. I didn't touch any of these echoes, stuff like that, because these were in the game last year as well, but I didn't touch any of these things whatsoever. For the VSync gameplay and for the VSync menu, both of those are set to off. Custom frame rate, I just pretty much just maximized it out so I can have the most amount of frames possible when it comes to in-game. And when it comes to the menu, I capped it at 60 because obviously I don't need my PC cranking out in the menus when I'm just sitting here a lot. And out of focus frame rates, I set to 30, pretty much just default as well. For the reduced menu render resolution, we put that to optimal. I kind of just kept that default just because I really didn't touch any of this thing whatsoever. Pause game render, that's also set to off. Reduce quality when inactive, that's the new setting this year, and it's set to 10 minutes. You can just set this to, I guess, off or 5 minutes, whatever you do. I just left it at the default to what it was when they added it into this game. The focus mode set that to 90. HDR, which is basically just, I guess, like it makes the game look a lot different, but it also makes your PC run a lot stronger too. So we set that to off as well. I really don't use HDR ever in Call of Duty. But for the quality tab of everything, we set everything to custom because I did change a lot of these settings as well. So render resolution, we want to set your thing to 100, depending on what your monitor resolution is. It'll either say 1440 or 1080. Obviously mine says 1440 because, like I said before, my monitor is a 1440 monitor. For the display resolution, we have that set to off. I didn't touch any of these settings whatsoever. The upscaling and sharpening, every single year you have to put your thing to Philadelphia FX cast. It's the best one you can use out of all of them. Once you do that, you press square to show more. You just maximize it out. It literally gives you that game. It literally makes your games more perfect and just a lot more cleaner and just honestly, truth be told, a lot more pretty. We'll keep it a buck. For the VRAM scale target, we have that set to 80. For the variable rate shading, we have that set to on. Now for the details and textures tab, for texture resolution, we have that set to very low. For the texture filter, we have that set to low. For the depth of field, make sure you set that off because at a certain point it makes the game blurry at further ranges, so you definitely want to put that off because if it's on, you'll be at a huge disadvantage for surely. Detail quality, we have that set to low. Particle resolution, that's also set to low. For the bullet impacts and persistent effects, that's on if you want, because you can have it off so you can I guess have more frames, but I keep it on because it doesn't really hurt that much. Shader quality, I set mine to high, which is literally just the default to how the game comes. I know a lot of people set theirs to low, but I kept mine high because honestly that's just like the default thing for the game. I'm not going to really stress about it and just panic about it and just keep that on high for what it is. On-demand text resolution, that's also set to minimum. The low texture streaming quality, that's set to low. Those two are just defaults how the game came. Now for the shadow and lighting, for the shadow quality, we have that set to low. For the screen space shadows, that's also set to low as well. A collision, screen space lighting, low. Screen space reflection, low. And also static reflection quality, low. You really don't have to have all the settings cranked up because like I said before, it's Call of Duty. You want to get the most amount of frames possible so the game is a lot more smoother. Literally, even though this thing is set to low, Black Ops 6 looks absolutely insane. It's a lot more optimized, so it does run a lot more smoother and it does look a lot better even though everything is set to low. Honestly, like I said, you don't have to put these stuff to low. You decide to normal, but I want the most frames possible, so I just put them all the low. Now for the environment, for the tessellation, we set that to near. I keep that at near every single year. Volumetric quality, that's to low. Deferred physics quality is also set to low. The water grid is set to low, and the water quality is just set to all. This just all right here is just like the weather and stuff like that of the game. You don't have to have the weather cranked up at all unless you're playing like campaign. I recommend just cranking this up, but besides that, if you aren't playing campaign and playing multiplayer, literally you don't have to have any of this cranked up whatsoever. Now for the view side of things, right here on this tab, this first setting right here says motion preset. This is literally I guess like a way so you don't have too much motion going on in the game, so you can literally avoid the sickness. I kept that off because I'm gonna change this to however I want it to be changed. But for my field of view, I just set that to 120. I play on 120 every single year. ADS field of view, that's set to effective, makes the gun look a lot more zoomed out and a lot more smaller, and it also does help with a visual recoil on your gun. Weapon field of view, that's set to wide. That's so it also once again makes the gun look a lot smaller. For third person field of view, I kept that at default to what it was. I didn't touch this whatsoever. Same thing with the vehicle field of view, that's set to default. Now for the camera side of things right here, for the weapon and world motion blur, make sure you turn both of those off, because if you have any of those on, no matter what you're doing in the game, at some point it will look blurry, whether you're just moving, just turning, looking up and down, or just shooting a gun. The game will look blurry, so make sure you turn both of those off, because if you have any of them on, you'll literally be at a huge disadvantage. For the first person movement, set that to the least as possible. That's the lowest that it can possibly go. So like whenever you get hit with a grenade and stuff like that, your screen doesn't shake too much. Same thing with third person. I don't think third person is really even in this game, but that's also just set that to least. For the third person ADS transition, that's just set to default as first person ADS. And inverted flashbang is also a personal preference setting. Me personally, I don't want to be blind by the time I'm 30, so I'm going to set this to off, or on I should say, because it literally just makes the flashes black instead of white. Now for the audio tab, I'm gonna go this one pretty quick, because the audio tab is basically just whatever you have plugged into your computer. My master volume is just set to 80. I just have it literally right here because this game is insanely loud for some odd reason, so I just lowered it down here, and I also did lower it down on my actual computer itself. But I'm just going to scroll through all this, like I said, because a lot of this stuff right here is basically what you have plugged into your computer. The default setting that I have on here for the hit marker preset, you can either set the default to what Black Ops 6 one, and the classic one this year is also BO4's hit marker sound system, so you can either go with whatever one you want. I definitely do think the classic is a lot more satisfying, but I'm just going to use the regular cold Black Ops 6 one, because that's just this year's new sound effect when it comes to the hit markers. Voice chat also, once again, this is all just default is what you have plugged into your computer, so you can, I guess you can copy these if you want, but once again, yours will be different from mine because we all have different stuff plugged into our PCs and just consoles as well. Now for the interface tab right here, once again, this is also just somewhat personal preference of what you have on your computer, but one thing I did change on here was the telemetry, which is basically the stuff you have on your top left. Every single year I put on the FPS counter because I want to know my frames. Sir latency, I want to see what ping I am on in the actual lobby, and packet loss to see how I'm actually lagging in the lobby. That's really all you pretty much need. Don't need all the extra stuff on here. You can, if your PC does tend to overheat, you can you can check the temperature and stuff like that, but I don't have that problem. So I think these three right here are just the best ones that I've always used when I play Call of Duty. Same thing for the readable tab. These all just don't come with subtitles. Once again, personal preference. I haven't changed my colors this year just yet. I'm waiting to get my actual count back, then I'll probably start messing with the colors and stuff like that. But until then, everything is pretty much just defaulted. Gameplay hub, I didn't touch any of these whatsoever except for the mini map shape. Put the mini map shape to square. If you play on circle, you got a huge disadvantage because circle literally just limits the amount of information you do get whenever you actually are playing the game. So you definitely want to take that off. Everything right here, like I said before, is literally just defaulted to how the game comes. So a lot of this stuff right here will definitely be the same as it is for you. Now for the controller tab, the part of people who have been waiting for, obviously I do play on a controller. I play on a Scuff Impact controllers, basically the PS4 controller. I do have two paddles on the back. My right paddles for jump, my left paddles for melee. My button layout, I have that set to tactical flipped, which is basically you slide with R3 and you shoot with R1 and L1. That's the best way. I've been literally playing like this for the last, I want to say 6 years. I've been doing this since Black Ops 4 before I even had a Scuff. I've gotten used to it when it came to just me using a regular controller, and then when I got a Scuff, I still got comfortable with it, and I stuck with it through the last few years. For the stick layout, that's at the default. My horizontal and vertical sensitivities on to be on a 6.6 this year. I was doing 7.7 earlier, but honestly 7.7 felt like way too fast for some odd reason, and I didn't feel comfortable on this game at all, and I kind of feel like I really can't aim this year if I be completely honest with you. And they did nerf aim assist a lot, so I gotta keep it above. My aim is a little shaky, I ain't gonna lie. So 6.6 is a lot better for me this year, I'll be completely honest. Simplified controls and lower motor strain preset is also, both sets are off. For the bumper ping, that sets are off as well. The swap, like I was talking about earlier, where you shoot with R1 and L1, that's what you want to turn on. Control vibration means sets it off because we are K when it comes to the vibration game. We do not mess with those people. Dead zone for the controller, basically just your stick drift. You can also test it here, so you can just adjust these settings best fit to your controller. My left stick is obviously set to 5, and my right stick is also set to 5 as well, because I don't have that much stick drift in my controller. Even though when I did just test it, you see I had more stick drift, but the higher you go, literally the slower your controller will get. So I kind of don't recommend going past 10 if I be completely honest with you. With the aiming tab, sensitivity multiplier, this year I did mess with these a little bit. The only one I did change was with the last 2 settings here, which is the ADS sensitivity multiplier and also the ADS sense multiplier focus. I set both of those to a 90 because I feel like this year when it's set to 1, whenever you aim down sight and try to shoot, I feel like it's just all over the place in my personal opinion. I feel like it's just not as sharp and as comfortable as it really can be. So I went a little lower with it this year. And I think this is definitely the best one you can use. That's personally comfortable for me. For the look inversion on foot, that's at the standard. I didn't touch that whatsoever. Aiming, advanced settings, I didn't touch the look inversion whatsoever. Either the ADS sensitivity transition timer, that's instant third person ADS correction type assist, and the aim response curve type sensitive dynamic. Dynamic has been one of the best things you can use over the years. Either you can use dynamic. I tried linear, but I'll be honest, I really didn't feel a difference. I'll be completely honest with you. So I just went back to dynamic because dynamic is all I truly know. But for the custom sensitivity per aim, that sets it off. I didn't touch any of those things whatsoever. Obviously, aim assist target will be on. The motion sensor behavior, that sets it off. I didn't touch any of those either. Motion sensor advanced settings, I didn't touch these either. I don't know what any of these do. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So if yours is just on and stuff like that, and these settings will literally be the same, will match with every single setting that goes on through here. I didn't touch these whatsoever, so we should have these same exact settings. For the movement tab, I do use sprint assist and tactical sprint assist because it does save my control. It's basically auto attack sprint, but they just have it weird this year and they have like a delay to it as well. So I just set that to 0 because the delay being on 0 makes it a lot more instant. A sprint assist sideways and sprint assist backwards is both going to be on. Mantle assist, that's off. I didn't touch that either. Crouch assist is also off, and corner slice is also off as well, because it basically makes, first of all, it doesn't affect your aim like it says. It does not affect your aim whatsoever, but it gives you that leaning effect, and I don't like that leaning effect at all. Got me thinking I'm playing Rainbow Six and shit like that, but I don't like it. Personally, it throws me off personally. Obviously, it doesn't affect your aim like it said. It throws me off, I feel like. So I turned it off. I didn't like it this year. Slide to dive, I have it set to tap to slide. Usually I would do slide only, but this year we have omni movement, so I'm messing around with omni movement just a little bit. But also there's a slide dive activation delay. I'm gonna keep it a butt with you flat out. I did not know this even existed, so put that to short. So everything's just instant. It slides instant, it dives instant. I didn't know that even existed, so put that all to short. Auto door peak, that's off, that's default as well. Automatic airborne mantle sets are on. Sprint restores also sets it on. Sprint slide maintain sprint is on as well. And these last couple settings right here, I definitely did not touch. Those are pretty much just defaulted. Movement advanced settings, only thing I did touch on here was the tactical sprint activation. I put it to single tap, so it can instantly start my attack sprint instantly. The rest of these are also just default. I don't touch those whatsoever. Vehicle advanced settings, you can copy these as well if you want. These are literally just the same as you guys as well, because I didn't touch these either. For the combat tab, I think I'm just gonna scroll through because once again, I didn't touch any of these things on here whatsoever. The combat tab, these are all pretty much the same as well as you guys. I didn't touch any of these things whatsoever. Overlay, advanced settings, these are all just defaulted. I didn't touch a single thing on these settings. But this is my settings here in Black Ops 6. If you guys did enjoy today's video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. I want you guys to comment down below what's your sensitivity here in BO6, and also how many nukes you do have. I'll see you guys in the next one.